Happy Easter, everybody. Today is April 8th, 2012. This is your Android news. Today we have Google's Visor glasses, HTC One line, and Instagram for Android. Let's check it out. So first up today we have Google Vision or Google Goggles or Google Project Glass, whatever they want to call it. Basically glasses that you wear on your head, give you a custom interface similar to Android. You can look up in the sky and it'll tell you the weather. You can look at specific pictures, check in, and you'll also be able to take pictures with the visors. So this is just one step closer to becoming either Minority Report or Iron Man, or maybe even a little Mass Effect thrown in there, wearing a little glove with a custom interface on it. So that's going to be pretty cool to see in the upcoming years. I'm sure that Google will probably launch that by the end of the year, if not next year or early next year, because you know Google, they crank out stuff. So let's move on to our next topic. Next we have the HTC One line, or the Sense 4.0. Seemed to be really a major step for HTC in the way of they are now using mostly stock Android rather than their custom Sense UI. Sense is still on these phones and in their own, but they don't have the overbearing that Sense 3.0 or 3.5 or even 3.6 bring. Actually updated recently saying that HTC Sensation and the Amaze 4G and some other popular HTC phones right now are gonna get 3.6 Sense, but it's nothing like Android 4.0 or Sense 4.0. The one thing that I would like to point out about the HTC One X is it's got a quad-core processor in it, which is amazing. It's got the NVIDIA Tegra 3, which that's quad-core. That's almost as much as my computer's running. Actually, it is pretty much what my computer is running. And that's amazing to fit that little tiny chip into a phone like this. And the HTC One X is no bigger than this, and this is the Galaxy Nexus. The only one complaint that I have about the phone, other than Sense, that I've seen on the specs anyway, I have yet to play around with it, so I don't actually know how it feels. But the one thing that I will say is that the RAM that they've put in it, they've only put 1 GB of RAM, which is very unfortunate. This phone also runs 1 GB of RAM. The way I'm looking at it is you're cramming all these high-end NVIDIA processors and a bunch of memory into it and all these features, but the RAM is still 1 GB. This phone is supposed to be new, at least they'll bump it up to 2 or maybe 3. It would be really nice to see that from these manufacturers to increase the RAM, because I know that for one, the RAM gets very cluttered as soon as you start using the phone for an extended period of time. Even with task managing, I sometimes have up to 350 apps on my phone, and I know that's a lot, and it's way more than what the phone was really designed to handle. But at the same time, they should be upgrading the RAM at the same time they're upgrading processor, the screen, the camera, the battery, all that. The RAM will help. And yeah, it'll drain a little bit more battery because obviously the RAM needs more power to run, but I think increasing it to at least 2 GB will be plenty, especially running Sense. Stock Android, it's not so bad. 1 GB RAM on this isn't so bad. Unlike TouchWiz or Sense, where you have more than you need running because of their custom interface, it seems like 1 GB RAM is hardly anywhere close to what you need. So we'll see. Hopefully in the next HTC line they'll increase the RAM, or the next phones we see coming out will be. I would like to know, guys, what do you think about the Sense 4.0? Do you think it's gonna be a new thing for HTC phones? Do you think it's gonna be a selling point for them, or do you think it's still Sense? It's not so great, because my personal favorite right now is just stock. You can't get any better than this phone right here, right now. In my opinion, that's what I'm looking at. Let's move on. So the next thing is Instagram for Android has hit the marketplace, or the Google Play Store, finally this week. It's reached over 1 million downloads in its first week. Well, first day actually, it reached over 1 million downloads, and I think it's the most popular app on the marketplace right now. So a lot of Android users are dancing and singing in the streets, but a lot of iPhone users are crying that they don't even want the app anymore since Android has it. But boo-hoo, Apple lovers, Android has finally got it. And not that they really needed it. Android has had so much software for camera editing and picture editing that you didn't really need Instagram. The only cool thing about Instagram is the whole social network aspect of it that's built in. But other than that, you could still do everything Instagram does without Instagram on Android. I do know that there's probably 8 apps on the Google Play Store or Market, whatever you want to call it, that have camera editing tools. The one thing though that the Android app is lacking that the iPhone does still have is the ability to blur certain parts of the picture, which I don't know how really necessary that is. I don't see myself ever using that feature. So leave a comment below of what you think about HTC Sense 4.0. If you think it's a key selling point for the phone, is that going to make you buy it? Or is that going to just be like another thing? It's probably like 3.0, not going to bother. Going to stick with stock Android like the Nexus. But if you will, hit a like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk to you guys next time.